日本時間4日、ドジャースの大谷翔平は本拠地で行われたパドレス戦に1番投手で投打同時出場しました。この日は6回を投げて7安打3失点、移籍後最多となる100投球の力投を見せましたが、味方打線の援護に恵まれず9勝目を挙げることはできませんでした。防御率は 1.79 となっています。また試合が動いた7回には代打ロハスを送られ、大谷は途中交代となりました。前回登板となった6月24日のツインズ戦では捕手のラッシングとの呼吸が合わず、大谷が苛立つ様子を見せる場面もありました。そのため試合前の現地解説陣もこの点に注目。今回の登板で大谷とラッシングのバッテリーがどのような対応を見せるのか見どころの一つになると伝えていました。試合後には大谷の投球内容について多くの関係者がコメントしています。これらの模様を日本語字幕付きでご紹介します。
Here's today's starting pitching matchup, and it's a really good one. Michael King getting the start for the Padres, 5-7 on the year. The ERA just over 3.5. Struck out 83, walked 39 in his 96 and a third innings. For the Dodgers, it's Shohei Ohtani, 8-2, with an ERA just over 1.5. 86 strikeouts in 79 and 2/3 innings. And Shohei was originally scheduled to start the series finale against the A's in Sacramento on Wednesday. The Dodgers decided to push him back a couple of days, so he starts against the Padres and then next weekend against the Diamondbacks. Oral, how do you think a couple of extra days might help Shohei going into this start? Because he has been somewhat un-Shohei-like in his last 3 starts.
Yeah, the last 3 have been a little rougher, and we also have the controversy a little bit with Dalton rushing and maybe pitch selection and when are we going to go ABS. But when I look at what he's doing, he threw the ball at the highest average he's ever thrown it at the big league level as far as his fastball. So that extra rest could help him from that ballistic stretch where he was really going after his fastball. And his fastball is one of the most as far as how often he throws it in the big leagues, in the National League. The same thing with the sweeper. So when he's relying on those 2 pitches, we can talk blister, and Jerry, you can have the blister, but I think the extra rest is good for where he's going and what he's doing. He's not going to get an all-star break. He is still going to get 2 starts, this one and another one before the all-star game. And maybe it times it up because he personally might want to pitch in the all-star game an inning or so. So we'll just see how it all works out. But I think the equation is always calculated by the Dodgers in a very good way.
Yeah, and you mentioned it, John. He gets a chance to pitch the next 2 times out tonight in his next start against 2 divisional opponents. That's important. The blister has been an issue. Hopefully he's past that, and you don't want that to come back. So obviously when you're dealing with the blister, Oral knows it can affect your pitches, whether it's the fastball, the grip on the breaking ball, or he can abandon a certain pitch because it bothers him when he throws it. So he gets the rest. I like that he gets that extra couple days because we know he ignites our offense as well. So this is not a bad thing.
And as we know, in Shohei's last start in Minnesota, there was a lot of conversation and attention given to what was going on between Dalton Rushing and Shohei Ohtani. And on Mookie's podcast recently, he and Max Muncy shared their thoughts on what they saw.
I want to speak a little bit about the situation in Minnesota with Rush and Shohei. Everybody kind of saw it when they go down, and we got to go down and look at me and you down there. We're just being nosy.
Wait, what y'all doing down there?
I was really just kind of seeing how this is going to play out, what was possibly going to be said.
I think it's a good growing moment for both guys. Show's not always going to be able to throw to Will. And this is one of those moments where it was like, hey, sometimes Show wants to throw a pitch that maybe isn't the best pitch to throw. You learn how to deal with that the more you've been in those types of situations.
What I really enjoyed was like how Rush later on took accountability. He knows that he has a lot on his plate.
You're the catcher for a staff that's first in baseball in a lot of categories. So, that's a lot on your plate, and he's done an amazing job handling it.
He'll just keep learning.
Not one of us knew how to handle that situation at that stage.
No.
How many times were you peeking around the corner and I was breaking a bat down in the tunnel or something,
Which I love, by the way. I love that.
Yeah, Shohei and Dalton, they will be battery mates once again tonight. We heard Mookie and Max Muncy talking right there, Oral, about it being a learning experience for Dalton Rushing. And they both admitted that when they were young players, they probably wouldn't have handled it the right way either, at least known how to handle it. Yeah. You know very well the importance of that pitcher-catcher relationship. What do you think both guys learned from what happened in Minnesota?
Well, not only will I get to that point, but they're living in a much bigger fishbowl than I lived in, and they're living in a bigger and different culture. In our day, arguments on the mound showed you like competitive edge and like this is the right thing to do, and wow, look at the fire and brimstone that's going on. These Dodgers are killing it. Well, now you do that, and it's like everywhere. And the television coverage back in my day was maybe 4 or 6 cameras. Now we got like 16 cameras, and they're going everywhere. And then you got social media. But I think, you know, like when you fight with your brother, you become closer to your brother because there's nothing out there. There's no elephant in the room. And there's no elephant in the room now between these two guys.
What Max and Mookie Betts, this was Mookie's podcast, what they did for Dalton Rushing on that podcast and Shohei Ohtani was absolutely brilliant. The whole world was coming to an end because Dalton Rushing challenged Shohei Ohtani. And Earl, you know this. This happens all the time.
Yep.
I played for 9 different teams. The teams that didn't happen like this, we weren't very good because there was nothing to fight about. We weren't winning anyway. The great teams I was on, we always had situations where guys were sometimes at each other's throat because everybody's trying to win. They understand the importance of winning the ball game. It is a great learning experience from Dalton Rushing, and Max Muncy and Mookie Betts made a great point. They even admitted when they were younger, they probably couldn't handle that situation the way Dalton Rushing handled it. What Dalton Rushing did after that game, owned up to it and showed and proved to the veteran guys, listen, I'm all about the team. It was my mistake, and we're going to move forward. And Shohei Ohtani has been great with Dalton Rushing. He hit a home run a couple days later. They were laughing, smiling, high-fiving each other. This is a great learning experience for Dalton Rushing. And you want your young guys to have some fight. You don't want them to be passive. And these guys have taken Dalton under their wing. And I love when Freddie Freeman put his arm around him as well. So this has been a great learning experience, really, for everybody involved.
Hopefully it goes really well tonight. Shohei Ohtani will be celebrating his 32nd birthday on Sunday. So tonight may be a chance to give himself a nice early birthday present with another strong outing against the Padres. Let's send it back inside. Check in once again with Kirsten joining us live, and she has more on The Big Show. Hi there, Kirsten.
Hi, John. Well, Shohei Ohtani comes into this start with a few additional days of rest. He originally was scheduled to have the start on Wednesday, actually. That was back in Sacramento. So he comes into this one with a few additional days. And Dave Roberts, he talked about how the decision went into a few things. The Dodgers' schedule, they're currently on the back end now of 13 straight. And so they wanted to find ways just to kind of manage some of that early fatigue he dealt with this year and keeping him in a good spot as they head into the All-Star break. Today, Dave Roberts talked about the expectations for Shohei Ohtani. And he also talked about just the dynamic between Dalton and Shohei and how he wants to see them work together today as a battery.
You know, he feels good. You know, the body feels good. Certainly, we did this, you know, methodically, giving him some extra time and feel that, you know, we should reap the benefits today. So, you know, he's been fine, but I think that today, you know, given the opponent, the rest, I think he should be a good one tonight.
Between outings, we obviously have talked so much about him and Dalton Rushing's relationship and them getting back on track together. What do you want to see just when it comes to kind of how they work together, navigating through their lineup? And even we did see Shohei, he took over the pitch calling in that back half of the outing in Minneapolis. But how do you just want to see them kind of come back together and work together today?
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be good. I really do. I think that you know, Dalton will call the game. Is my expectation, and then if Shohei wants to kind of interject a pitch here or there, then great. He has that right. But as far as kind of the relationship, as far as pitcher-catcher, I think it's going to be great. And sometimes, you know, you got to go through certain things to kind of get to another point. So I think that, you know, I think we'll look back on that outing and go, you know what, that was good for both of them.
After that game in Minnesota, both guys admitted their frustrations and both guys took accountability and have had the conversations all week heading into this start. So ultimately, guys have put things in the past and they feel really confident and comfortable with where they're at right now. So hopefully Shohei Ohtani can also just get back on track with that execution that he's been missing as of late, guys.
Be on the mound tonight. He is 6-0 over his last 7 starts, but he hasn't been quite himself over His last three, whether it's been the knee bothering him or the blister oral, what will we be looking for tonight from Shohei as he tries to regain the dominant form?
Well, those two things you just mentioned, hopefully they're not bothering him, and I think then he's going to be a world-class athlete, move the body properly, have the great grip pressure, and be right in the strike zone exactly where he wants to be. When he was dominant with an ERA under 1, it was about location. It wasn't about velocity. Yes, it was about his stuff, but he was hitting his spots.
That's the key, hitting his spots and getting ahead. When he works ahead, he's got 5 to 6 pitches he can go to.
All right, Shohei Ohtani will be throwing the first pitch tonight, and then he'll be leading off for the Dodgers in the bottom of the first.
Look ahead to tonight. Shohei Ohtani takes the ball for the Dodgers. Couple of extra days of rest. I think the hopes are that he benefits from that and gets back to what we saw prior to these last few.
Yeah, 8 days of rest, and I think definitely a time of the year that he could definitely use it. You look at it last start, and for his standard, this isn't what he wants, right? That he did give up, but when you look at what he's done throughout the regular season, not one of his best starts, you're looking after 8 days rest, a much different Shohei tonight.
For more on Ohtani, we go down to Kirsten Watson.
Thank you, Joe. Well, Shohei Ohtani was originally supposed to have the start earlier this week on Wednesday in Sacramento, but Dave Roberts said they moved it for a couple of reasons. One, the team was in the middle of 13 in a row, and two, they wanted to manage his schedule as they prepare for the All-Star break. So, of course, he has to start tonight. His next one will be in the Diamondback series. And Dave Roberts today was asked, what does that mean then when you look at the schedule as he does prepare for that All-Star game? He said right now it's unlikely just due to his pitching schedule that he will have an outing as a pitcher in that one, but there's nothing official on the table just yet. He still has time to make that decision, guys.
All right, Kirsten, his final start as a 31-year-old with his birthday coming up on Sunday. Dalton said that the day after everything went down in Minnesota, he approached Shohei and said, let's have a talk. He said it was partial apology, partial man-to-man conversation about how we can get better together on this.
That's massive. I think a lot of times you see teammates, especially over the course of a long season, it's like, let's just put it behind us. We're not even going to talk about it. But communication for rushing to take that moment, the humility it takes, especially for a player like Dalton, to apologize, to say, hey, I was wrong. How can I be better?
Anything you're in any relationship, the hard conversations often are the best ones to have once you have them. Scary, but
terrifying. I cannot imagine Dalton rushing me like, all right, I'm going to go talk to Shohei. And I know he probably wants to kill me right now, but I need to let him know I was wrong. How can I be better? And honestly, I'm going to be catching you a whole lot this year. And I want to be the best catcher that I can possibly be. You got to put your ego aside. He's got great mentors on this team. We saw plenty of them talk to him in game.
Teoscar, last night you guys were down 6-0. Tonight down 3-0. What is the feeling just amongst the team in the dugout when you guys are down, but clearly never out?
I mean, we never feel like we're down. We know what we're capable of. We know the team that we have. It only takes a good at-bat, get on base, and somebody's going to hit take the big swing. In this case, it was me.
Someone like you was going to take the big swing. Take me just into that at-bat on the first pitch. Is that what you were looking for?
Looking something in. Obviously, he was throwing really hard. Every pitch that he throws is really hard. So something middle in, just trying to put a good swing on it. He left slider over the plate, and I just hit it out.
I don't think we've heard the stadium that loud, but on that grand slam, I know it's your first home run since coming off the IL, but what is it like when you're able to have a moment like this here at home in front of all these fans?
It's just the support that all the players have, I have, since I come back from the IL, doing my steam in the IL. You know, a lot of support from the fans, as always. So it's really good. Feels really good. I'm really happy, really glad that I'm here, and that I'll be able to do that in front of them.
And get the seeds everywhere. Teoscar, congratulations on that swing, and congratulations on this win tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Shohei, first, it's not typical we see you come out of the game late. Was there a reason just that Miguel Rojas pinch hit for you late in the game?
ピンヒッターを送られた理由としては何かありましたか？
バイセップスちょっと気になるところがあったので、最後の打席の後ですかね。はい、大事を取ってっていう感じですかね。
Yeah, more precautionary reason. I was a little concerned with my biceps with the last at bat that I took.
When you look at just the stuff on the mound right now, ultimately the numbers really have been excellent. But I know, you are someone who wants the best. How do you just assess a night when you have the strikeouts, but you do have some of that hard contact there?
成績自体悪くなかったですけども、球のスタッフとして良かったですし、ちょっと今日みたいな試合を振り返ってみてどう思ってますか？
いいところと悪いところありながら、6回まず投げて、それなりになんていうんですかね、まだ勝てる希望を残しながらゲームを残したっていう感じじゃないかなと思います。
Yeah, I think I did the bare minimum, which is to get through 6, give the team the chance to win, still keep the game in check. But there were some good and some bad in there.
Clear, was it your right biceps? And then did you sort of feel it on a specific swing?
右腕、右のバイセプスなのかと、で、何かスイングで感じたものなのか。
右のバイセプスですね。はい。1ヶ月2ヶ月前ぐらいも練習でちょっとなったんですけど、その時は比較的早くよくはなったので、今回もそうじゃないかなとは思ってます。
Yeah, it's my right biceps. It's the same location that I, felt a couple months ago. And it went away relatively quickly, so I expect that to happen again.
A couple months ago, did you only feel it when you swung, or did you also feel it when you were throwing?
2ヶ月前はスイングで感じたのか、それとも投げて、
スイングですね。はい。その時はそのまま出ましたけど。はい。
On the swing, I did feel it, but I was able to play through it.
Just to be clear, do you expect to be in there tomorrow, and do you expect it to affect your next start at all?
そういう試合出ますか？で、登板に影響しますか？次のピッチングの。
まず今夜明日と様子を見て、今日勝ったのすごく大きいと思いますし、少しこのチーム的には余裕が出てるとは思うので、明日出るかどうかっていうのはもう監督の判断になるかなと思います。
It was big that we won, but it's going to ultimately be up to the manager to see what he feels.
Last one, guys.
Do you feel good enough to be in the lineup tomorrow with the bicep?
意外なら出そうですか？
いつでも出れるなら出たいと思ってますし、いつも言ってますけど万全の状態でばかり出れるわけではないので、はい、常に出たい気持ちはもちろんありますね。
I can always play, and my desire is to always play, and yeah, I feel I feel good enough to be able to do so.
Yeah, we knew that something was going on with Shohei Ohtani when Miguel Rojas did pinch hit for him late in this game. And then we find out he felt a little something in his biceps, more precautionary than anything. But what's your level of concern for a pitcher if he's feeling anything at all in the biceps?
Well, I think that when you're talking about the bicep, you're talking about stuff that is related in that area, and you go with that up. It's kind of a radiating pain sometimes. But what I saw mainly being as a poker player looking at Shohei do his interviews, you can tell the facial expressions there's some worry there. There was no expressions changing. It was just kind of flatlining and giving answers and solid answers. He also said that he wants to play, meaning he's kind of hurt. Everybody's kind of hurt. It's injured you worry about, but everybody plays a little bit hurt. And he said he felt it on a swing. Okay, you're feeling it on a swing, but you're still able to go out there and pitch. For me, it's a nagging thing. You hope it doesn't lead to something stronger than that. But right now, he seems like a guy who's like, I got to take care of this, and they're at least giving him a day off tomorrow.
Here's the thing. Oral, that is a great perception of Show because he does have that great poker face. He doesn't want to let on, certainly not the media, certainly not the 29 other teams that he's going to be playing against. When you're dealing with that type of bicep, and you're right, it's up at the top of the shoulder and it leaks to your bicep. Position players get it as well. You get it sometimes if you're a right-handed hitter on your bottom hand, especially if you're a guy that finishes high. Shohei Ohtani finishes with that bottom hand. That's his throwing hand. So he's violent this way and violent that way. So sometimes that get irritated, agitated, and there be some soreness. When it starts to leak in your bicep, now you got to really take a step back. I'm glad that they're giving him a day off tomorrow, and I would make sure possibly give him 2 days off. You want this thing to calm down because you don't want this small issue to become a big issue, especially when we're getting ready to head into the All-Star break. So Shohei Ohtani, we all know, is vital to our team. You've got to make sure you let this calm down. Even if it takes 2 or 3 days, you always remember, Shohei Ohtani's going to want to play. Like Clayton Kershaw, sometimes you got to save him from himself. That's all I'm going to say there.
And because of where we are at in the schedule and the All-Star break coming up, he was only going to make one more start before the All-Star break. Jerry, you could feasibly, if you wanted, if you're the Dodgers, skip his next start against the Diamondbacks, then have the All-Star break, and he could have a full 2 weeks off before he pitches again.
I think,
if it's an issue.
If it's an issue. And I think Earl could speak on this a whole lot better than me as being a starting pitcher, but I will say this. Listen, if he was chasing Cy Young and if he was right now the #1, you may push him a little bit, but right now that is not the case. Let's be honest. The most important thing, no matter what, is what? Three-peating. That is the most important thing to show. That's the most important thing in this Dodger organization. So we have a nice, healthy league in the division. Why push him? Why? This is a time to take a step back, and I would skip him one start, and Shohei can be mad at me all he wants. He can, that's fine, he can yell at me. But I would skip him. That is my opinion. Why push it? Why risk it? Because, Earl, you know this. If it starts with the shoulder and maybe it leaks with the bicep, maybe that starts to put pressure on what? The elbow, right? You never know, because when we talk about injuries, sometimes you try to protect yourself from that stuff that's irritating you and you injure something else.
Well, we're making educated guesses.
Right.
Educated guesses are kind of blind, but we are talking from experience. So the fact that in the interviews with Dave Roberts and Shohei, that there is some admitting that there's some bicep irritation. Irritation is usually swelling. There's usually some inflammation there that the different nerves and different things are not tracking correctly through the bones or the different areas they have to go. You want to give it a day so that you can calm that down, and you're going to calm it down with ice and stim, and you're going to help think those nerves are moving correctly and the irritation goes away. Once you get that to go away, now you have the risk and reward of when do we now take it back to activity, and is it ready for activity again? Full strength, not just I'm able to play, but full strength. And I think Jerry makes a good point. And the Dodgers have always kind of gone on the conservative route when they have this big a lead, when they know they're going to play in October, and they know it's one of their key individuals that has to be healthy then. So I know they will make a really good decision.
Well, biceps and all, he still threw 110 pitches in this game, Morrill. It's still a quality start for him. What did you see from him in this outing tonight against San Diego?
Well, now we have rose-colored glasses to really kind of look at the K-zone and understand why at times he was a little bit inconsistent. So we saw Shohei Ohtani at its best with some pitches. We saw him be very edgy with 98 miles an hour of velocity. We also saw him where maybe he didn't get completely loose for the first 6 pitches of the beginning of the game, and he walks a couple of guys and the table gets set. But then all of a sudden, when the adrenaline hits and he got into jams, he did a very good job eliminating the damage. He didn't throw a shutout, but it was a quality start. 6 innings and three runs only. But you could just tell from me that we see a passionate, aggressive facial expressions, celebrations out there when he is really on his game. And tonight at times for me, the body language said, I'm just getting through this and I'm doing the best I can and I'm gutting it out again. And we actually described him as gutting it out in the past in some other outings in this last 4-start stretch.
I'm going to say this. Listen, this generation doesn't get enough credit as we continue to see Shohei Ohtani continue giving us a chance to win. Like you mentioned, now that we know after the interview, he was dealing with something, and he had a quality start. Yep. He had a quality start against a really good Padre team that's familiar with him. These young guys, this generation, I say young guys because I'm a little older now, they don't get enough credit. They are tough as nails. They want to play every day. Most of them want to play every day, and it's really the manager and it's really the staff that keeps them from playing every single day, a la Freddie Freeman. Shohei Ohtani, you saw the look on his face. No matter what, I'm going to go out there and give my team a chance to win, even though I don't feel my best. This kid is tough as nails, man. We saw him last year or the year before in the World Series when his shoulder was about to fall off. He wanted to be out there with his team. So again, this kid is tough as nails, and there's a lot of guys in this generation don't get enough credit for being that tough.
And Dave Roberts has already decided Shohei is not going to be in the lineup as the DH. He announced that a short time ago. We will hear from Dave Roberts coming up.
It's precautionary. just kind of tightened up on the bicep, so he's not going to DH tomorrow. So we'll give him a day to fully recover, treat it up, and then from at that point in time, we'll just go from there.
Sherry experienced this a few months ago. When you kind of just look at this injury, I know you just said you're going tomorrow, but kind of, do you feel like it has any impact anywhere else moving forward?
I don't know. I don't think so. You know, he's dealt with it before. You know, he's a quick healer and finds a way to get back. But I do think that for us to read and react and to kind of hear what his body is telling him is really important. And given the toll that, you know, it takes on his body to do it, to be a two-way player.
Shohei said that this was something that he had felt a couple months ago, but that it went away relatively quickly. Around what time of the season was that?
You know what? It was so benign that I didn't hear about it until tonight. So I would assume that he hasn't missed much time, and that's the first I've heard of it. So it didn't take him out of playing.
Dave, on a night like tonight when he throws 110 pitches, is the knee also a little bit of a...
No, you know, tonight the knee wasn't of all, and even to be honest with you, is the bicep didn't bother him while throwing. It was when he took his last swing. So the knee didn't bother him at all tonight.
Where did you see him, like totally?
I thought tonight, just the first inning initially, just didn't have command. You walk the first two guys, and then you know, you start to kind of figure some things out, and then you know, obviously the home run by Merrill, and then in that sixth inning, it just got a little bit, you know, he leaves a sinker up, and Bogarts hits it the other way for a double. 2 outs gone, first base. So good outing, but I think again, you know, where with Shohei, the stuff that he has, he's just got to be more efficient to be able to get into that 7th inning. And the last few starts, he just hasn't given himself a chance. I thought they were fine. I thought they did a good job. You know, they seemed to be on the same page tonight.
Dalton, I know after just the last time you and Shohei worked with each other, there was just so much talk afterwards about you guys getting back on track. Can you just kind of tell me, as you guys navigated through their lineup, and kind of what the feeling was amongst you two, and how you were able just to kind of find the ways to be efficient when need be, and also to get the strikeout when need be?
Yeah, I thought he took the 2 walks in the first out of it. It's hard to get out of that kind of situation. I thought he did a good job throughout the game. These guys saw him just a week and a half ago. Speaking as a hitter, you kind of have a better idea of what guys are trying to do to you over the course of facing a guy twice in a week. But I thought he threw the ball really well. I thought he gave us a chance to win. King was throwing the ball really well tonight. Made it tough for us to put up runs. Luckily, we got a big swing out of Teo, and it was enough to do it. But I thought Shohei threw the ball really well tonight.
Everyone, and even yourself, talked about how, you know, you could use last week as a learning experience. How did you find just now coming out of this outing, and kind of how you two were able to kind of communicate with each other, work with each other, and also just like get back on track together?
Yeah, it's kind of like a boost of confidence. You feel as if you guys are on the same page throughout the whole night. And like I said, obviously you take those 2 walks in the first out of it, and I think he had a very quality start. He gives a chance to win, and that's all we ask out of our starting pitchers every time.
Dalton, Ohtani said last time when he started calling his own pitches that he kind of wanted to show you what he likes to do. How much better do you feel you understand what he likes to do now?
Yeah, I thought tonight I had a good idea of what he was trying to do. Thought we were on the same page a lot tonight, and obviously that once again is a boost of confidence moving forward. He's not an easy guy to call for, but also he's who he is for a reason, you know. Yeah, I'm glad we were on the same page for most of the night, and look forward to his next one.
What makes him challenging to call for?
There's a lot of pitches that are really good, a lot of options. Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it.
Just to pop up, were you calling for the pitches tonight?
Majority, yes. Yes.
How tough is it to sort of game plan inning by inning with him, especially because, like, unlike a traditional pitcher, like, you're not really like sitting with him in the dugout. Like, you don't really have this time between innings.
Yeah, it's tough. It kind of, we have to lean on Mark a little bit for translation. Obviously, Will helping out with translation, but Mark just kind of communicated between the 2 of us. It makes it a little tougher, obviously, but I think he does a great job with it, and like I said, I thought we were on the same page a lot tonight. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.